Welcome to the Future of Recruitment podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Dan. For those of you that are new to the podcast, we talk with recruitment founders and entrepreneurs who share insights and thoughts on AI partnerships and the future state of recruitment. This podcast is sponsored by Brellard AI Systems. Brellard works with companies around the world to design, implement, and manage AI systems and business processes to make your company more efficient, effective, and profitable. Today, I'm joined here with Reece Deignon from EasyStaffing, who are a leading provider of temporary staffing solutions specializing in the hospitality, events, and catering industries. Now, I can never do sort of full justice, so Reece, if you could just give us a quick overview of EasyStaffing yourself, that would be great.
Yeah, so we're an agency based in Manchester, but we do work sort of up and down the country. We supply hospitality staff to, your typical hospitality venues, your stadiums, hotels, conference venues. We base ourselves on only ever we're supplying experienced hospitality staff, so people have got at least a year's experience in the role that they're working, to make sure that the clients that we work with get only experienced staff in the roles, and just ensure that everyone is fully vetted, assessed, and compliant.
Amazing. And you've been in the recruitment industry for about a decade, haven't you? I was looking on LinkedIn earlier.
I think, probably about 13 years overall.
Amazing. Well, if we maybe wind the clock back a bit, where did you start your recruitment journey and how did it end up here at EasyStaffing?
Yeah, so I started off at a company called Verve People. Started off there, just as a temp. I'd come out of a job, worked as a temp there, got brought into the office to help with sort of office admin and things like that, and then worked my way up the ranks there. So, worked as an account manager, senior account manager, took on separate different roles within there, and then eventually to the assistant branch manager, where I was sort of overseeing all different departments. I was then recruited for a company called Rota. So Verve were your sort of traditional agency, old school traditional agency, phoning, getting sort of people into the positions, lots of account managers and things like that. And then I flipped over to the sort of new recruitment agency, where it was an app-based agency. So the clients were posting their shifts on the app. They were posting all their shifts. It worked all through the system. So it was a lot more intuitive. It's where the sort of AI started to come in a bit. So the AI within the system would identify the best sort of people for the best roles, based on their previous experience, the ratings that they got, and the proximity to the venue as well. Worked there for about 3 years, and then COVID hit. So once COVID hit, everything sort of shut down. Everyone furloughed, working from home. After a while, from as sort of COVID was starting to come to an end, I got a call from the founder of Rota, who said they weren't going to be coming back into the industry anymore. They were just going to be a SaaS software. So the software that they developed, they were going to be using that for other agencies and other companies to use for their own staffing. So said there was an opportunity there. So I then started my own company and started to reach out to all of the partners that I used to work with, the partners that sort of Rota worked with, and started to build the relationships there with my own agency, recruiting my own staff. We made certain changes to how the company would work based on my previous experience with both the traditional agency and the app-based agency, and tried to make it a sort of hybrid of the two, making sure that we had the app, we had the operations teams, the recruitment team, ensuring that all of our clients had a full account management. If they liked posting their shifts and liked having that control, that it was there. But if they wanted to, have an account manager there just posting it, then we would be there to do that as well, and do it from both sort of angles, ensuring that, as I said, only people with a year's experience. So with Rota, I believe it used to be 3 months experience. We'd upped it to a year just to make sure that everyone had the experience to just fit into any sort of teams that they went into.
Yeah, amazing. And was the same sort of area? Was that in hospitality and
Yeah.
staffing?
Yeah. So they were, at the time, they were just mainly in hospitality. I believe after I left, they branched out into sort of medical and aviation and things like that. But at the time, yeah, it was just hospitality.
Amazing. Well, what was it like going through COVID in a company that focuses on obviously in-person events.
So once COVID hit, everything just shut down. There was nothing happening at all. So yeah, it just kind of completely just stopped ceasing to have any sort of operation.
Yeah,
So everyone was put on furlough, everything stopped, and it wasn't until, coming sort of to the end of furlough that they decided to start an operation again, but they just decided they weren't going to rebuild the whole thing from the ground up. They'd been working on the software throughout the whole of COVID, branching it out, making it, suitable for all types of industries. So that's what they sort of did then.
yeah. No, interesting. It's super interesting. You got that background from that more traditional agency style, and then coming into more of a tech, which is now a full tech company, and then being able to take a sort of hybrid of both of them, I guess, into your current business.
Yeah,
So
that
how
would be.
what have you built out in terms of tech then to help your team run?
So, in all fairness, after a little while, Rota was sold to an investment company, and they then were sort of pulled in house to that investment company because they owned medical companies and they transformed it into a medical only sort of thing. So, we had to find another software then. So, that's when we started reaching out to different sort of software companies, seeing who fit our sort of approach the best. And that's when we came across Ubeya. Ubeya is now the software that we currently use. That are other agencies that use this software now as well. We try and use it to its full capacity, where we try and make sure that all of our clients have complete access, so they still see all of their bookings and see, what's going on, so they know what's happening. So how many staff they've got, who they've got, they can rate the staff on there. Send shifts out to only their favourites and things like that. There are differences, obviously, between Rota and Ubeya, but they do both implement sort of AI to figure out who would be sort of best for the shifts. I think the Ubeya software, you still need them account managers in the background, operations team, running, selecting the best people for the shifts, reconfirming people, speaking to people, keeping that sort of friendly face there that people can, identify with and understand that they still have someone there to talk to.
Yeah, no, indeed. No, it's interesting. I just wonder, like, how have like your internal processes changed then from? So I imagine back in the Verve days, it was smiling and dialing and yeah, racking in those candidates, and then it's probably completely different trying to pitch like a software led product.
Me, it was a big culture shock, a big difference when I went in from being a very hands-on, sat in an open office that people could come and go from. They would come in, they would sit down, talk to you, book the shifts, and then you would, be constantly phoning people, can you work? Can you work? Can you work? It was a operations heavy sort of thing where you're just constantly speaking to people, constantly trying to get them on. To be fair, I can understand from a candidate's point of view where that would become annoying. It has its perks where, they just constantly have someone there to talk to. You build a sort of team ethos, but it can become annoying when they're constantly just getting phone calls. Oh, can you work here? Can you work there? And, there might be a certain pressure from certain clients. Oh no, I need this particular person. I need this person. I'm like, I'm not free. We need you. We need you. And it can be kind of, to then going into and it's where it's more laid back. You're putting the shifts on, but it's more of a candidate friendly approach where you are putting it out. If they're free, they're free. If they're not, they're not. There's no, mentality of chasing people. There's no mentality of, if a shift's going short, then a shift's going short because it's no one's free for it. There's just, whereas in the old style, it was no, you need to get someone. You have to get someone. It has to go. We do put more of an approach on it now where we want all shifts to go full. We want to speak to people, but we're not going to harass people. Oh no, we need you, we need you, we need you. It's nothing like that. If we put it out, if people are free, great. We will, try and speak to people, but there's none of the harassment of trying to pressure people into work and things like that. People will work where and when they want to work.
Yeah, and I imagine well that the company Rota must have been quite ahead of its time in terms of trying to leverage tech and a bit of AI to slot all these people in. Like especially over the last couple of years, even AI has obviously just taken off and compounded in the rate that it's infiltrated even just day to day life of normal people, let alone in different business settings. How have you seen that influenced the actual tech that you've been using? I know you mentioned a couple of bits there, but have you started using it in your internal processes as well for like client outreach or candidate outreach?
To be fair, it does sit in with your sort of sales side. It can fit in there where you AI sort of generates the sort of leads and emails. There's still a hands-on approach. Talking to clients. AI is not going to, at least anytime soon, pick up the phone and start calling your clients to speak to them. So there is that still sort of hands-on approach, but it has implemented certain aspects of the way that the shifts are filled, the way that it generates leads and chases people and sending emails and maybe follow-ups with the inside the software itself. There is AI where it can generate reports for you, generate different things within that help your sort of business in turn, even down to simple things like it remembers people's birthdays and sends out messages. It can generate different profitability reports and different reports on examining trends, understanding trends of what's happening, so you can be more ready in what you might need for the coming weeks, coming months, in terms of numbers of staff, to make sure your recruitment, that you're only recruiting, the amount of people that you need. There's no point in recruiting a ton of people that you're just never going to need. That you're wasting your time, you're wasting their time, you're wasting resources. So it does help to have an understanding of what you might need in the coming weeks and months.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it helps a lot of businesses sort out a lot of the admin and bit, but there's always going to be a sort of human element.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully, otherwise we won't be needed anymore.
I'm sure it'll always be there, especially with. I'm sure you've. Do you do most of the sort of client acquisition bit yourself?
Yeah, so that sort of comes down to me in terms of just reaching out to potential clients, reaching out to people that you might have worked with that you haven't spoke to in a while, people that you're hoping to work with, just reaching out and seeing if there's any possibility there. Obviously, you're only reaching out to people that you think you can actually help. There's no point in just reaching out to a load of people that just for the sake of it. You want to reach out to the clients that you're actually going to be able to work with. You're actually going to be able to fulfill the bookings and work with. There's no point in reaching out and then you just can't help them and you lose them a week later. There's no
Yeah,
point in that.
I bet being that hospitality space, you've had some interesting. Do you have many stories or interesting client stories where you've been and met with whoever, wherever?
There has been some interesting ones. There has been some clients where you just didn't think that they would need the kind of staff that they do, that they would, have that kind of capabilities of just the pure staff. There's certain ones where they're just fascinating events, where they're, there's high security or high public interest and things like that, where they yeah, they make national news and you're just in the background supplying the staff and no one ever knows you're even there, to be fair, in terms of anyone outside of the venue.
Yeah. I've got a picture in my head of this sort of BD setting where you're sat at a bar waiting for a drink and there's no staff, and the guy next to you is like, "Yeah, I can't find any staff." You're like, "Oh, here's my card."
There have been a few, yeah, there have been a few of where you're in a venue and you see that they don't have enough staff. They don't know, they're struggling, they're behind, and you just approach them and say, "Look, I can help you. I can help. If you ever need it, let me know, and we can work something out. We can always get you some sort of experienced staff in to help with the running of the operation."
Yeah, so I imagine as well for especially like the companies you're working with and the sort of particular side of like recruitment and staffing you're working with, the sort of AI transition has had a massive effect on the actual roles compared to like a tech recruiter, etc., that's hiring developers. That now it's more senior developers. A lot of junior ones are getting replaced or replaced by a senior with an AI, etc. I can imagine. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Much has changed in terms of the actual roles that you're doing.
In terms of the actual roles we're supplying, not really, because AI hasn't started to replace them, at least not yet, until we get
Robot.
robots in venues that are serving drinks and making the food, which is probably coming at some point. But at the moment, it hasn't, luckily. You still need the people, the hospitality experience, the people welcoming the guests and giving them an experience rather than just a robot dropping your plate off at a table.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about that face-to-face experience. Otherwise, it'd be like a vending machine.
Yes. Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, we don't want that yet. But with our clients, the AI will have started to come in and help them in terms of forecasting sort of what they need probably a lot more accurately. Forecasting, the and helping in their staffing costs as well, making their staffing more seamless and more positive, with the operations that they need and the amount of staff that they'll need, and putting them in place in a better, more efficient way.
Yeah. Intrigued as well. From the software side, there would be more of a SaaS sort of sales element to like a recurring revenue or a retainer based thing for it. I imagine the old school recruitment was more contingent based. Are you guys like a contingent based agency, or is it more like, are you just doing sort of on margin, etc., or is there more of like a retained based or like recruitment as a service element or staffing as a service?
So we normally have dedicated clients that we work with, but they only sort of pay us for the staff that they have. We don't charge clients, for the service of the software. The software we pay for from our side. The clients that we work with, they can access the software and use the sort of scheduling on it and seeing what they've got and using the forecasts and the reports on it. They can use that free of charge. That's not something we just charge our clients for the hourly rate of the staff themselves. We cover all of the aspects of the pay and the holiday and the NI and everything like that, and we charge our clients. So yeah, it's just they just pay for the number of staff they have by the hours. We don't have any sort of retainers set in where you have to pay us this no matter what. That'll just scare people away, I think.
Yeah, indeed. No, that's super interesting. And I guess a question for you is, obviously you're using like tech quite heavily at the moment, and there's that AI element coming in. If I had a magic wand where you could just automate or use AI to completely take out one of your functions, whether it's client sort of outreach or some internal processes, what would that be?
To be fair, the sort of recruitment process, we know what experience we need when we're recruiting someone. We know exactly what, how we want a person to sort of be when we're recruiting them, and AI sort of coming in, and it will do that soon, where all of the sort of CVs are scanned, or automatically the experience is picked up. If they have the right experience, then we jump on a video call with AI, and they can explain what it is they've done. Or so all of our staff get tested on their knowledge. So whether it's a bartender, a waiter, a KP, a chef, they get tested, and the AI could test them. At the minute, we want to keep that as a human approach, because we want to know that they have the right attitude and the right sort of personality when we're sort of recruiting them, because they're going to have to go to our clients and fit into their teams. But I think AI will start to pick up on that, where it will give them a sort of skills score, and it could sort of automate that process, because that is the most expensive side of it, is doing all of that. If it can be done through AI, then great, it would just automate all of that, and that's probably the next one that would be looked at.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be around the corner,
Yeah.
if not here already. There's new AI coming, or platforms and apps coming out every day.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy, the rate of innovation. However, I guess a question for you then, what's the sort of future looking like for EasyStaffing? So you've come a long way from like not that long. It seems like you've grown at a rapid pace.
Yeah, we did grow very rapidly. We grew into sort of the existing clients of our old sort of rota, what they were, and then sort of when word of mouth went around about the sort of stuff that we're doing, we ended up bringing on new partners, new clients, and yeah, building it out from there, just on a basis of trust. They could trust us. They could trust that they're going to get the staff that they sort of need, and word of mouth, bringing on new sort of clients, and we sort of grew out from there. In terms of our future, we're just staying steady, building, not trying to get too greedy, not trying to take on too much, just slowly building out, working into these other clients. We do want to sort of get into these, as I say, the huge companies that are just enormous and work everywhere. Once you can get into them, then you're working, in these other huge events your contract caterers and day-to-day stuff that happens everywhere. And yeah, they are very sort of useful partners to have, and it's great to have that there for your own staff, so they've got that flexibility of more steady work available and your sort of ad hoc shifts as well.
Yeah, so you're going to go global and get things like Glastonbury and
To be fair,
Coachella.
we do already work with some of the big festivals. We've done some of the big festivals. We've done some of the big stadiums, and your big horse racing events, your massive events that happen around the country and things like that. We've already done some of them.
I bet you must have some good stories then.
Yeah, yeah. Some really good, some kind of bad. You get the mix. It does happen when you're dealing with large groups of people. Things happen. Things do happen, and some of them are amazing, success stories, and some of them are just things where some people just unfortunately let you down, and it's part and parcel of it. It's just trying to fight that and deal with it, and trying to ensure that you get the best people possible in place. So it doesn't happen often, but it's always going to happen. You're dealing with humans, people. It's going to happen.
I remember when I was at uni working for a security company as just a steward, and we did a few different things, including Ascot, which was quite good fun, which was very different. And we did Oxford United versus Swindon, which was chaos. It was stood in between two rowing fans. It was the craziest sort of experience I've ever had.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, that's any of your sort of football stadiums, especially the sort of smaller stadiums. They do get crazy where it's just in between the fans. It can be good stories, but it can be, I think, a bit stressful for someone that's just walking in brand new as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. And how so with the future of EasyStaffing and sort of growing these different areas? How do you see recruitment changing with AI? Do you think it's going to have much of an impact on your day to day?
So as I said, it's already started to come in a bit, and I think there would be other things there that we could probably implement at the minute already. It's just that we prefer to keep our the hands-on approach, making sure our clients are all happy, making sure the partners, the staff as well that work with us, you know, have someone there to talk to, and have someone if they've got a problem. We don't want them to just have to go to an AI chatbot and talk to them. We want them there to have a person there that can understand if they've had an issue on a shift, or if they have something going on. We can at least try and understand, and be there, have a bit of empathy, and not just be oh yeah, you've not turned up, goodbye, that kind of thing. Like, things happen in life, we understand that. Yeah, but it will have a big difference, I think, in the automation of making it more seamless in terms of clients coming on, signing up, going on the system, to the shifts being booked and sent out. I think there will be a more automated process there, linking it into our, with our finance company, and all of that kind of side as well.
Streamlining the processes.
Yeah. Because at the minute it is still a bit sort of human element. It's doing unnecessary admin as such, where it could just be a bit more seamless, and that's what we'll sort of look at as well.
Yeah, I think it's the same for most companies though, like especially the ones that have been around for a while. There's loads of clunky bits that could be ironed out and could be sort of made a bit more seamless.
Yeah, certainly. But AI is just developing so quickly at the minute. It's going to happen pretty quickly, to be fair.
Yeah. That's what we're right starting to round up. For someone who might have worked in a recruitment agency and then thinking about branching out on their own, obviously you've done that, you've been there, done that. What advice would you give them for jumping into the sort of self-employed life and setting up their own company?
Just be aware that there is a lot more to just running an office, or a branch of a recruitment company, or being a consultant, to then actually running the business. There's a lot of things that no one teaches you beforehand, with the accountancy side of it, finance, payroll, HR. There's a lot more to it than just filling bookings and keeping your clients happy. That's just a small part of it. Just be aware that there's a lot more to it, and be prepared for that. And if you do get prepared for that you won't be shocked, and there'll be no sort of nasty surprises. Make sure that you have all your ducks in a row as such before you go live.
Nice. Well, look, Reece, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and chatting today. It's been great sort of chat and hear a bit more about EasyStaffing. If someone wants to get hold of you or they've got an event they need staffing for it, what's the best way to get in touch?
So you can go onto our website, you can email me, you can give me a call, whichever one. Yeah, it's all pretty easy. All of our details are on our website. It's easy-staffing.co.uk. You go through there and you can see it all there, and you can get a hold of us. And yeah, we can always help.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Well, cheers, Reece. Thanks for being on. Thanks everyone for listening. See you next time.
Thank you.